Hi, this is Udit Hirosh with DIYPhotography.net. We're here at PhotoPlus 2019 with Justin at Fuji stand, and we're going to talk about the X-Pro 3.
DIY Photography's coverage of PhotoPlus 2019 is sponsored by Luminar, an AI-powered photo editor. PhotoPlus, immerse yourself in the world of photo and video. Cozy Speed, the fastest camera bags in the world. And Spiffy Gear, lighting for storytellers.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, how are you today?
Good. So tell me a little bit about the X-Pro 3. What's so new about it?
Well, the X-Pro 3 is our newest camera in X series lineup. It's an update of the X-Pro line, which was our first interchangeable lens camera, the X series. So we tend to let it go a little longer in its life cycle before we update it. But pretty much almost everything is brand new about this camera. I feel like Porsche describing the 911, right? Every time they come out with a new one, they always have to tell everyone that everything is new on it, right? Because it looks the same. So really,
internally, like if I want to understand what's the internal, what would you compare it to?
Well, the sensor and processor in this camera is the same as the XT3, right? Got similar weather sealing to XT3, but the video features are a little bit less. So the video features are more like our XT30 camera. So it's good 4K up to 30p. So a little bit less than our T3 in performance there, but it's got a different purpose. This camera really, to us, is a pure photography camera, is a street photographer's camera, is really reportage documentary, so we focus on photography with this camera. That's why we did things like make the screen flip out in the back, right? So that it's not in your way. So you actually are focused on making pictures, using the viewfinder, engaging with your subjects, and being present with what you're doing while you're making pictures, and not distracted.
If you show the screen, I noticed that there's a little emulation insignation on the back. So what's that all about?
Well, on the back of it, in the old days when we shot film, remember you used to rip the corner off the box and stick it back in the back of the camera? Well, they've actually put in a e-ink, a color e-ink on the back of here that shows that little tab, just like that, and we can cycle through. So as we change our film simulation, that tab changes. It also gives us our white balance and our ISO information. So change our ISO, the ISO changes on the back of the film box. So it's kind of a little nod to our history and heritage. I mean,
way
85
easier
years
than changing film.
Oh, way easier than changing film, because the best part is I can shoot some at 400 and then go 3200 and back and forth.
And I noticed that this thing stays on all the time. Does it drain the battery?
No, because it's color e-ink, it only uses any power when you change settings on it. So the camera's going to be on to change settings, so no power change out of it, no power drain out of it. It's just a great little thing that sort of a little nod to the past.
Okay, if we're talking about power, is it the same battery as the X-Pro 2?
Same battery as X-Pro 2s, yeah. So it's, the W126 batteries work in this camera just the same.
Okay, well, what else is new about this camera?
New things, the new classic neg film simulation. We also have added some HDR functionality in it. We've also changed the multiple exposure function in the camera. We can now do up to 9 multiple exposures, and with that we can choose how they're blended together. They can either be additive, they can be average, they can be light or dark, so that's another change in the camera. But also construction changes in the camera, right? This camera's now got a titanium top and bottom plate. We've got this new Duratect coating on the silver and the Duratect black, so the DR black and the DR silver camera.
They feel really nice.
It's beautifully smooth, right? It's really smooth, scratch-resistant finish, really durable. It's got a Victor's hardness value of about 1500. So typically a magnesium camera body is going to be, so the previous camera was magnesium underneath. That's a hardness value of 50 to 75.
So significantly tougher.
Significantly tougher than the previous generation camera. It's about twice as hard as stainless steel.
So looking into the Evf Iso, it's a little bit different from the previous one. Yes. Can you tell us what's new about it?
Everything's new about the hybrid finder on this camera. So it's a hybrid finder, so we have an optical finder and we have electronic viewfinder up here. We've redesigned completely the optical finder. The previous camera had a dual mag system. We lost some light through that, and it also made it overly complex and made it hard to pick out panels that could work with it. So our EVF was always a little bit lagging on this camera. This camera now, we have a new Evf panel in it. It has more contrast, it has faster frame rate, so 100 frames a second it can run at now, but it gave us more selection. It's also a 3.69 million dot panel, so higher resolution.
So it feels more natural.
Feels more natural, looks more natural, it's brighter, it's got more contrast, it really gives you more information about what you're doing.
How much of the sRGB does it cover?
It's 97% of sRGB space. So the previous one I would say was about 92%. So it's really opening up that color space and giving you really a true to life look about what the camera's seeing.
So are there any spec updates on the optical viewfinder?
Yeah, because it's a completely new system, it's actually got a slightly wider view, a little bit more eye relief on it, so it's just making it better use for everyone altogether. So you see a little bit wider of an angle of view, but also it's brighter, it's clearer also, and less color cast to it. So the previous one had a little bit of a color cast to it sometimes because of the extra lens, because of the magnification change. So this one here's got some advantages that way. We retained the little flip up, so we can actually have optical viewfinder with the little EVF in the corner, so you still get all that advantages of EVF and seeing exposure and seeing your focus point inside that optical finder.
Okay, last thing I see is that the back screen has changed.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So the back screen that flips out this way, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't want to get rid of a back screen. It's really a useful thing, looking at pictures, seeing in a bigger place, but also giving us the ability to do a waist level finder. So we have that capability now also, but it's protected, right? And it also not to interrupt you while you're photographing or disrupt your photographing.
Bump against the nose.
Get nose prints on it, yeah. It's kind of a different thing. So it's a different experience. This camera is more about photography, the process of creating, and not wanting to interrupt your process by seeing pictures on the back of the camera. If we want to go look at pictures, yeah, we can stop and we can go, yeah, we're going to look at pictures for a little while, but it's really meant to be more in the moment, photographing and experiencing what you're out there seeing and not being a distraction from that.
That looks pretty cool. Are there any more features to make our lives easier?
Yeah, there's a built-in focus limiter now. So a lot of lenses have focus limiters on it, but we actually put one in the camera so we can control like the focus range. So if you're, shooting on the street and you don't want the camera to ever focus beyond 5 feet or 3 meters, you can actually set that limit in it, and it will only look for objects closer than that. So it's kind of got some neat little tricks to it that, depending on what you're doing, could be really useful for you. It could also focus at longer distances. So you want to photograph through something, through staircase, through a window, you can set it so it never sees the staircase or the window. It only looks beyond it. The other thing that we've made a slight modification to is our focus stacking. We've had built-in focus stacking in a few cameras now. We've now made a modification. This camera is 2 versions. We have the old classic version from our other cameras. This camera now, we can actually give it a start point and an end point, and the camera will automatically make the shots in between. So we use manual focus on it, set our near point, set our far point, and hit the button, and it goes click, click, click. Shoots the pictures it needs just to make that shot. So it added lots of little features to it that hopefully will be trickling their way down to other X-series cameras in the future.
And is it, tell me a little bit about price and availability.
Price, the classic black is going to be $1799.95. Will be available in the US, available sort of the end of November. The Dura finish cameras are a little bit more money. They're going to be $1999.95 in the US, and they'll be available around the 12th of December.
Thank you so much, Justin. I can't wait to see the camera hit the shelves.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Udi Tirosh with DIYPhotography.net. Keep watching us here at PhotoPlus 2019. We have a nice giveaway. Check out the links below. Hit like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more awesome content.